Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Titan Hero Series Sentinel from X-Men 97 and of course see how it compares to the Epic Hero Series and Marvel Legends. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at this Marvel Titan Hero Series Sentinel from X-Men 97. Now I wouldn't usually review these Titan Hero Series figures on the channel as they are mainly aimed at kids. However, we are on a bit of an X-Men hype at the minute and this is branded X-Men 97 as the animated series is due to return anytime now on Disney Plus. And we have also just had a full wave of Marvel Legends based off the X-Men 97 looks on glorious card backs revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. So maybe, just maybe, we could use this Sentinel in a Marvel Legends display. So that's what we're going to find out today. Of course, he scales perfectly with the Epic Hero Series figures I have just reviewed on the channel. They are perfect scale for this Sentinel. But yes, we want to know how it looks with Marvel Legends, as Sentinels do come in different scales and sizes, so maybe we can make this one work. Of course, I'm going to compare it to the HasLab as well as we do this, but let me move them out of the way to take a look at the box art. Again, a very nostalgic branded X-Men 97 Marvel Sentinel with the main team on the front. We get a Sentinel image on the side, that same image on the back with two others, so maybe 3 is the sweet number there. No cross sale, which is a shame as there are other figures in this sort of lineup, and on the side a full look at most of the team. Some of them we are missing in the Epic Heroes lineup, including Beast, Morph, Cyclops, Jean Grey and Jubilee. Storm comes with the Quinjet. We will be reviewing on the channel too, but not until we've opened this one up. Here we have the Titan Sentinel out of the packaging, and first things first, let me reiterate that this is a kid-friendly line. So they are obviously more simplistic in design and articulation. So I'm not going to be hypercritical here as they are not particularly aimed at the adult collector, but we just love toys, so that's why we're looking at it today. But it is a very basic figure, and you can see that already with the lack of sort of sculpted detail. It is very flat in design, but it is pretty tall, I'll give it that. It is, if we get the tape measure out, you can see under 15 inches, but probably about 14.5 inches in height. So still pretty impressive and just about fits on my review table here. So I'm sure when we start doing some comparisons, it will still look imposing. And it does look like a Sentinel. Like even in its simplistic form, it looks like a Sentinel. The colours are on point with the purples and the sort of dark purpley pinks, if you will. And then you've got the red eyes in there with the black outlines. And yeah, it looks like a Sentinel. So a simplistic Sentinel, but it looks like a Sentinel. Let's zoom in. So looking at the head sculpt, you can see the helmet itself has the sort of pink face embedded in there with the red eyes poking through. Hopefully you can see that, and a little bit of silver as well in the mouth. So aesthetically, it does sort of give the sort of impression of how a Sentinel looks in the very simplistic form. If I spin it all the way around, you can see there are some sculpted lines on the helmet. Now the head itself is on a big ball joint, which means it will move, but it is quite tough. So you can get it moving left and right, and also a little bit of up and down, like a tiny little bit nod, like he can nod. So you can't really get him looking down at the characters, but you can tilt the head a tiniest bit. The plastic is quite glossy as well. If I zoom out here, you can see how my lights here in the studio are glimmering off it, as it is just a very flat plastic. There is some sculpted detail on the sort of waist here. You've got this bit on the front, some more sculpted lines up here, but the arms are completely flat, and so are the legs, like he's wearing spandex. It's like a giant Sentinel in spandex with an armor sort of middle. Now, it's a giant 5 POA figure. I don't know what else to tell you. There are only 5 points of articulation. The head is on a ball joint. You have the 2 shoulder joints. So the shoulders will go to about there. That is it. Not even to 90, to about there. But you can spin them all the way around. But again, that's all you're going to get. So you can get him doing the Y, but that's about it. So no articulation on the elbow, no elbow cut at all. And it looks like there should be like a glove swivel, but no, there is no over articulation on the arm, just the shoulder. Same with the legs. Again, let me try my best here and zoom out. The figure is massive. So yeah, like the leg just has articulation here at the hip. No knee cut, no knee articulation, no boot swivel. It is literally just that. He can do the splits though, which is pretty impressive. Like, what other Sentinel can do the split? So he can do the splits and he can kick forward about that much. So again, not even 90 and back not really at all. It gets stuck there at the back. So that's about as much as you can do in regards to articulation. So again, it's a 5 POA figure. Head, shoulders and 2 upper legs. That's all you're getting. No ab crunch, no swivel at the waist. It's a giant 5 POA figure, but it's there to represent the Sentinel. And I think for kids, just sort of being introduced to the X-Men for the first time, this is still pretty fun, especially when you compare it to the others. So let's do that. Let's get into comparison. So first comparison, let's check out its intended purpose. They have put the Sentinel in the Titan series because it is a perfect counterpart for their Epic Hero series figures. They are 4-inch figures and they scale beautifully with the Sentinel. As you can see, they go to just above his foot, his boot, and you can see there, Cyclops is 4 inches tall. So this is its intention, and I think for that it does scale beautifully. And here's the wider look of the Epic Hero series figures compared to the Titan Sentinel. Again, looking really good. And you'll notice he has one fisted hand and one open hand. Now, no articulation at all, no interchangeable parts, but he will hold one of the X-Men. So here we have Wolverine. He has been captured by the Sentinels. Now, the Sentinel can only hold him straight as he has no articulation in the elbow, but you can still pose him up for display or play with an X-Men character in the hand of the Sentinel, which I'm sure kids will appreciate. And again, imagine introducing a family member, a niece, a nephew, son, daughter to the X-Men, and you start with episode 1, the Night of the Living Sentinels, and then you can literally recreate that in figure form and start the next generation of X-Men fans. Now, I think this is what most people watching this channel will be interested in seeing. How does this Titan Sentinel compare to some Marvel Legends? Now, of course, you're giving up articulation and like accuracy. However, as I said, it still may work as a background piece in a display or a diorama, just as a representation of the Sentinel. Now remember, this is your display. You create your own rules. So this is how it compares to some Marvel Legends. You can see they appear just above the knee. So he still looks quite big and imposing compared to Legends, but it's just aesthetically, they're much more detailed and articulated compared to this guy. So you will be limited with posing. But as I said, as just a background character, a representation, it could work. Now, he can't hold the weight of a Marvel Legend, but you can see he will grip Wolverine around the waist. Now, Wolverine is obviously a smaller character, so it might not work with some others. But again, if you wanted to take some pictures at least, he will hold it in the hand. He will grip it, tight enough to hold, but again, the weight of the Legend is just too much. I apologise for the sloppy setup, but what can I do? This guy is too damn big for the review table. Here we have the Marvel Legends HasLab Sentinel compared to the Marvel Titan series Sentinel. And as you can see, he towers above him. The Titan series doesn't even go up to the Sentinel's waist. But I can see potential here. If you turn your HasLab Sentinel into the Master Mold and use the Master Mold head that came with the Sentinel and maybe create a throne diorama or some sort of big chair for him to sit on, then maybe, just maybe, you could buy an army build these Titan series Sentinels to sort of accompany him in some sort of diorama display setup, which I think could ultimately work for a display. So you let me know what you think. Have you got any display thoughts for these Titan series Sentinels? I'm genuinely curious how Marvel Legends collectors could integrate them in to a display. And talking about the HasLab, here we have some Marvel Legends Sentinel based comparisons with female Sentinel Prime and Bastion. Here we have a couple of more manageable comparisons as we have the Marvel Legends Hulk. We have a Marvel Legends Giant Man Build-A-Figure. Maybe we get a new comic one at some point this year. And then we have the Toy Biz Apocalypse. And you can see he scales at about the same height as this Titan Series Sentinel. So if you have that guy in your collection, then that's what you should expect with this Sentinel here. But again, aesthetically, it's far too basic to fit in. And let's wrap up with some of the Who crew. We have Frogman, Tigra and Jocasta. And then last but certainly not least, here we have Captain Britain and Hal Fire Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Titan Series Sentinel. Now, as I said right at the start, I'm not going to be too critical here as it isn't aimed at us adult collectors. It's a cheaper price point aimed at the kids to try and get them on board with our X-Men love. And I do think this will work. It fits its purpose of being a big robot, a counterpart to those little epic hero figures. And if you want to, you may be able to fudge this into a bigger Marvel Legends display or diorama, as aesthetically, undoubtedly, it looks like a Sentinel, just with a lot less detail. So you let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you tempted by this X-Men 97 kids line? It is very fun, I have to admit. Go and check out my review of the epic hero figures and see for yourself. And if you want to see more Marvel Legends content, then wow, you're in the right place. Check out the videos tab, playlist, podcast, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button, hit all on the notification bell, don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. I'm on Twitter at Dan Who Reviews. Don't be shy, tweet me, and I will of course see you on the next one.